Then suddenly this afternoon, the Lib Dems meeting was besieged by hundreds of protesters on the streets, calling for fair votes and who fear that Nick Clegg could soon disappoint them on electoral reform.
The interesting question is whether this is the first time the Liberal Democrats have been the subject of a demonstration from people who fear the party's about to sell them out. Are you worried that Nick Clegg might water down the Liberal Democrats' commitment to PR?
I think there's always going to be a danger of that. I think he's playing a very clever game, but the Tories aren't interested in it, and we've got to show now that it counts to thousands and thousands of people in this country.
Well, we want to make it clear that the proportional representation is what we need for this country to be a democracy, because currently it really isn't.
And you fear that the Liberal Democrats might water their policy down?
I completely have my faith in Nick Clegg.
We want to make sure that whatever deal Mr Clegg does, it guarantees proportional representation at the next election.
And you're worried that won't happen?
Yeah, I'm worried. Of course I'm worried. Yeah, because you know, we all know he's going to talk to the Tories first. Fair enough. You know, that's I don't have a problem with that. But what people want is, I think, what they want from their politicians is accountability. They want their vote to count.
But isn't this a bit of a Monty Python-esque parody of a demonstration? I mean, I see a placard over there, FPTP lame, and another one over there saying AVASAP. I mean, it's all a bit of a...
Well, we were chanting. There were some people chanting on the way down, what do we want? Fair voting. When do we want it? Before the markets open on Monday. And there's a small coterie who are calling for the return of Lembit Opik. But I think they all work for Hello magazine, I think.
Nick Clegg had to come out and speak, fighting the shouts of no sellout.
I genuinely believe it is in the national interest. It is in the interest of everybody in Great Britain for us to use this opportunity to usher in a new politics after the discredited politics of the past. So I take your petition in the spirit in which I'm sure you meant to deliver it for me, in the spirit of change, of real change in the politics of this country.
Interesting speech there from Nick Clegg. Note, he was still talking about political reform, not electoral reform, and he didn't actually promise anything to the crowd, really.
Later, a senior Lib Dem announced their MPs and frontbenchers had endorsed Nick Clegg's approach to the talks with the Tories.
We are determined to put the national interests before party advantage and to play our part in delivering the stable and good government that the people of this country are entitled to expect. We have heard what the Labour Party and Gordon Brown have been saying over the last 24 hours, but in line with the strategy that Nick Clegg has set out, we will be continuing our talks with the Conservative Party as the party with the largest number of seats and votes.
Again, did that talk of national interest above party interest hint that electoral reform could soon be ditched? Meanwhile, as Gordon Brown arrived back at his home in Scotland, the Labour MP John Mann called for Gordon Brown to quit, saying his continued leadership ruled out the credibility of a Lib Dem pact with Labour. This evening, Mr Clegg met his party's 32-strong federal executive, who have the power, like their MPs, to block any deal. But one senior Lib Dem, Lord Razzle, has said there's no deal on the table and that the party's still listening to Labour.
Well, we're joined now by the Culture Secretary, Ben.